everyone. Welcome to another, well, let's call it an exciting edition of In Conversation With. Stories from people all over the globe, but specifically at this point in time with friends that we have made along the road. We're here in America and we took this opportunity to meet up with guys born in Africa, making a difference in America or wherever they are. And what a pleasure and a privilege that I have today. This is one of my favorite people on the planet. And I just want to say, Stanley, Tongai, welcome to In Conversations With.
Thanks for having me, Dave. What a privilege. What a great way to spend my morning.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
He might not have an African accent anymore, but
it's there. We get passionate, then it usually pops out.
So the angry passion comes out, right? You bring
the
out
loving
African
passion. The loving passion. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Donna, my wife, is just wow. When we first met Stanley, and she heard that Stanley was from this specific country, the country of her birth, there's never been more excitement I've seen in my wife's eyes in all of our visits here to the United States. And so when she heard that this guy was born in Zimbabwe, that really just filled her with unbelievable joy. And so Stanley, there's the connection. It's Zimbabwe, right?
Zimbabwe, yes. Born and raised, lived there till I was 21. And then I was fortunate enough to follow my sister here and, started life and went to college and, got involved in photography through college and met up with I Am Second. And I've been working with them since almost 15 years.
Well, we're going to get there. Okay.
Right.
But tell us a little bit about who Stanley is. Where were you born in Zim? And kind of like just a little bit about your background, your upbringing.
My parents, my mother was a teacher, kindergarten teacher, grade school teacher. My dad was a miner, an underground mining tech. And, we moved around a lot. A lot of the time we spent time in Bankit, Zimbabwe, which is such a farming town. And when you look at the grand scale of big Zimbabwe, it's not really big, it's very tiny. But we moved around a lot, and that kind of helped me kind of learn a little bit more about my country. But they ended up putting us in high school, in boarding school, and I think that's where I kind of started to understand what my purpose was and what I was trying to accomplish. And I love Zimbabwe. I miss it a lot. Fortunately, I get to travel back and forth and bring the culture here and share it with people that I know here now.
So you moved here, you said, when you were 21.
21 years old, yep.
With a dream?
Multiple dreams.
Multiple dreams.
Okay. Multiple dreams.
So you obviously want to make a difference in the world, right?
Absolutely.
You want to do that. So you move to the United States. Were you a Christian at the time? Were you just a believer in Jesus, or?
I was actually baptized when I was 13.
Okay.
And I was fortunate enough because my mother is, we always say that she has this direct line to Christ, and she's
As
such
mothers do, right?
Right. She's such a prayer warrior and she leads our family. So I was fortunate enough to be in a household where the Christian faith was really strong. And that's a lot of homes in Zimbabwe as well, Everyone is very strong, church every Sunday. And I was very fortunate to have that in my life. And coming over here actually was, that faith was really necessary because, as you know, different cultures of many kinds here.
So you made a decision at what time in your life? Was there a specific moment where you said, okay, this is real?
Yeah, I think you kind of figure out that at a young age, you have all these dreams, you have all these things that you want to accomplish. But I didn't like to go to church. I didn't enjoy it. It was such a burden. And, having to wake up on Sunday after a long week at school and, mom would drag us out of bed. But just so many good things kept happening. I played a lot of sports. I played rugby. I played soccer.
Good man. Yeah.
I played Go All Blacks, by the way.
Oh, no. This is where we cut completely because, he has to be supporting the Springboks. But, okay, we'll take the All Blacks. It's all right.
We'll revisit that one. But I started to get a lot of injuries, and there was a lot of downtime. So in that time, I read a lot of my Bible, and I started to lean more into my faith and try to. As a dream, I thought I would be an athlete after school, and I thought either soccer or something had to hit, basketball or rugby or something had to work out, but none of those did. And I think my faith was just kind of everything's going to be okay. You'll figure it out. And my mother was a big part of that too.
So you follow your sister to the United States,
Right.
And so you got these dreams and ambitions. What was the original? Okay, well, I'm going to be in this country.
Right.
They call it the land of the free. So it's there must be massive opportunity for me in the direction I want to pursue.
Absolutely.
So what was that initial direction for you?
I think it was to be involved in sports in some capacity.
So not only from the Zim perspective, but now in the States.
Right, in the States now. And, I was lucky to play a lot of basketball, and
accent comes out.
Right. And so when I got here, that was kind of my priority. I was hurt, but I thought there was so many opportunities here to heal and kind of rest the body. And I started playing a little bit, and then I played a little bit at the community college that I was at, and but you really see how different things are. And I mean, eating sadza was not good enough for me to these guys who've been eating pizza and like actual training programs.
Wow.
And, so size difference was such a big reality check for me. And, I played, I ended up redshirting for a little bit, but, after that point, I kind of figured out this is probably not the path for me. I need to find something else. And, obviously education was the second route, which I took up there.
So when we meet Stan, we get to the States.
Right.
I'm Second's known for the White Chair film, and so if you haven't seen any of our White Chair films, get online, watch them. They're unbelievable. They are testimony based, and hopefully they're there to encourage you, bring you hope in everything that you experience in life. But we get to our filming. And we get to film these guys, and there you are, and you're taking photos of people, and so just tell us a little bit about your introduction into I'm Second, the choice, the decision at least to get into photography, and what landed you up working for I Am Second.
That's a whole story in itself. I was in college, and I was actually pursuing an accounting degree. I was one of those nerds that just numbers were easy for me, especially with accounting. So I was pursuing accounting. And then we got to my third year, and I remember walking into a class, the accounting class, and I always sat in the front row, not the teacher's pet or anything like that, all right. But I just liked the front row. And the teacher came in, and I don't know what it was, but I just felt exhausted. I felt, what am I doing this for? Like, this isn't exciting anymore. Sure. It's so easy. I always got great grades. Right. And I remember I picked up my books, my scientific calculator, and I gave it to the guy who sat next to me. He was a good friend of mine. I said, I'm out.
Come on.
And I went, for whatever reason, I decided that was it, and I left. And I went down to the registration office, the cashier's office, and I said, can I have my money back for accounting? Because I don't know if I want to do this. And she said, it's too late. You missed the deadline. Go ahead and pick one of these classes over here, though, to make sure you don't lose your money. And the only class that was available was Introduction to Film Photography.
Come on.
And I remember I was like, okay, it's photography. I get time to kind of relax. Right. I head up to the class. Everyone's already sitting down, and there's one spot in the front. And I was like, oh, that's the front. But this gentleman there, he was like,
and this time you are the teacher's pet, right?
No, not this time around. I got to the front, sat down, and the first thing he said to the class was, don't bring your camera for 2 weeks. You're just gonna come into the class, and we're gonna teach you how to see first. Very good. Just to visualize. You think you see everything, but I want you to see first. And I mean, when he said that, I was very curious. Yeah. But as the classes kind of went on, and just the romantic nature of being in a dark room, I can never explain that to somebody who's never processed film and see a photograph come to life. Right. Under the red lights and the chemicals, the smell, everything is all
that experience. It's amazing.
And so that whole process got me very curious, and I thought, let's see where this goes. And 3 years later, I ended up getting a degree in visual communications, and that kind of got me curious. I didn't know what I was going to do. And like I said, my sister had come before me, and she was linked in with E3. She was actually the art director at E3 Partners Ministry.
Yeah.
They do the mission work. And so Nathan Sheets was there, and he asked me to come on as an intern and see kind of, if there's anything that I like there. And I ended up being a creative assistant, and they asked me to do some photography, and that's kind of how I started doing photography itself.
And you find yourself in the ministry.
Now,
Just serving.
yeah, now it's been over 17 years, which thinking back to I remember my first shoot was Vitor Belfort, the UFC fighter.
Ah, yeah.
He had
I
a
remember
fight
that.
in Dallas.
Yes.
And I was called that Friday, and they said, hey, we can only film him on Sunday after his fight on Saturday. You're doing the shoot. You're the only one available. I had never done the photography set by myself, but we had the video guys at the time, Scott and Sam, and they were really helpful. And this guy walked in, he's swollen ears, swollen face. And I, having seen all the photos we had done previously as an assistant, I was like, how am I gonna make this guy look ready for the website?
Right.
But of course they had makeup and everything. And, once I did that shoot, I learned so much just from, talking to people, and kind of the environment kind of grows on you, and you almost get obsessed with it, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And ever since, I think 100 something odd films, I've got to photograph some really amazing people.
Oh, unbelievable. I'm going to come back to that now. But being with I Am Second, we know that we wake up every day putting Jesus first in everything that we do. So I'm not going to ask you, how does Stanley Tongai live second? I'm going to ask you, in scripture, you go through it daily. A lot of us have life scriptures. Do you have one? Is there something that you want to encourage our audience with today, and what it means to you?
And I hope you don't mind me reading it.
Please go ahead.
I keep it close by, but it's James 1, verse 2-4. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials in many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. And I made that my life verse. I'll tell you, this year has been really tough for me.
Right.
I lost my brother, and
Sorry, man.
it was just a season of suffering.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily suffering for myself, but seeing my mother and my sister suffer was really tough, right? And, reading that verse kind of brought us to this place where do you go in tragedy? Everyone suffers, but I think everyone's suffering is different, but the ultimate suffer was Jesus. And he suffered knowing what the purpose was and why he was suffering. I think we tend to suffer and think, I can give up now because that's it. I'm depressed. I'm going through everything that I am. But finding joy and peace in that, which comes through connecting with Christ, just really enhances your faith. And, in a strange, weird way, I have this note written over my computers that I edit on, and it says "willing to suffer." And I think when you understand and commit to suffering, not a lot can drag you down, because you tend to get to that position, but you look forward to hanging on your faith to pull you through those tough times, right? So my version of willing to suffer is that, I can get through any day. Let's see what's the hardest thing that I'm going to face, but ultimately, no one is ever going to suffer as much as our Jesus suffered for us.
That is so true.
And that's my life verse.
It's the ultimate love, right? There's no greater love than a man who lays down his life for us.
Absolutely, amen.
Oh, man. So, I could talk to you all day. But for time constraints, anybody thinking, man, I'm a little old African person. I want to get out into the big, wide, open world. I'm not too sure, is there a space, is there a place for me? What sort of advice would you just give somebody that really has a dream and ambition and feels that they just cannot achieve it back home, but maybe there's an opportunity out there? There's hurdles, there's obstacles and that sort of thing. So what sort of encouragement can you give somebody that is thinking, I really want to get out there and just pursue my dream?
That's a great question. And this is something I probably realized just about 5 years ago, which is pretty recent. being a photographer, I think I get labeled as a storyteller all the time, and it kind of gets in your head too. And you have all these expectations to tell stories every time you show up with your camera. And everyone kind of has that expectation of you, whether it's a wedding or a project. It's really, when you play into it, you believe it. But I figured out that a lot of the time I'm already showing up to stories that are already there.
Yeah.
I just really have to follow the story and document it the best way I can. I think that's my gift, right? So I use that to encourage people, to tell them that there are all these titles and things that have already been done by other people that we look to and want to emulate and do as well. But you really kind of have to trust in yourself and believe in whatever it is going on in your heart and your mind. Really trust in that and work hard at it and push through. I know it's hard, especially in places where life is really tough, to see yourself living this other different life. But I think if you truly believe in what you want, your prayer, your faith, those things tend to come together and allow you to become who you're supposed to be. Because regardless,
that is so good.
I promise you're gonna become who you're supposed to be. It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. It's just you get to choose, which is a privilege. You get to choose how you do that.
Yeah.
And it's allowing all these things and trusting yourself, trusting in your faith, and enjoy the journey. God will never put you in a path that you're not gonna end up where you're supposed to be.
So good, man.
I hope I answered that.
You perfectly and beautifully. Last question, which really just needs a simple one-word answer.
Right.
Oh, okay, let's do it 3, all right, because you're going to understand it soon.
All right.
Favorite I Am Second film?
Goodness. John Metter,
Okay.
Deaf Pastor.
Wow. Second favorite?
Second favorite, Bethany Hamilton. Only because I'm terrified of sharks, but I also love them and I'm infatuated by them. So to meet someone and photograph somebody who has literally been in that situation that I fear the most, that was an experience for me. Yeah. Sorry, that wasn't one word.
No, listen, that's fine. And then obviously there's the third.
Okay.
All right.
Third, I think Chris Pleckenpohl.
The Marine.
The Marine.
Yeah.
I think he took everyone to a place where you wouldn't believe, but at the same time, the questions he was asking himself in that environment, when you have to choose whether you save somebody's life when yours is on the line. We've all had those moments, right?
Yeah.
When right or wrong is right next to each other. And you have to decide in an instant. And then whichever one you choose, you think about it for the rest of your life.
Right.
And that defines your life. So I love his film, and I think he's a fantastic human being.
Stanley, it has been a pleasure and a privilege, my bro.
Absolutely.
Just to be with you. We love you. And we know that whatever you do, God's just got unbelievable things outlined for you in the future. And as you photograph people, I love the fact, what do you see, sort of thing, and how he sees us. Right. And that's a good thing. And so I think God sees you and in everything that you do.
Let me also say, you and Donna, I truly appreciate you. And every time I'm told you're coming into town, it's always an exciting moment. I get to show you a little bit of the American side that I'm
You do.
The fast food and all the fun things.
In-N-Out Burger, baby. Come on.
I love you. I really
not as good as Whataburger, but it's great.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. If you haven't seen, again, I mentioned it earlier, if you haven't seen any of the I Am Second White Chair films, go to iamsecond.com. Watch the films. They are unbelievable. They are fantastic. Stanley's given you his top 3. Why not in the comment section? Just let us know, what are your 3 favorite films? But whatever you do in life, always remember, he's first, and let's live a life of second, and let's go out and make that last command that he gave us our number 1 priority, to go and make him known, make disciples of all nations. So thank you for tuning in. Well, we love you guys and bless you until we see you again. Ciao.